Good morning everybody and welcome to today's session of this course, SIATHFAB027, Serve Food and Beverage. This set of training is for people who are looking for a role within the hospitality industry or who are just looking to improve their skills and fill in any skills gaps so that they can take on different roles or maybe get a new job within the food and beverage industry. One of the things that we'll be looking at is how to serve everything. So we're going to be setting tables, serving plates, serving glassware, serving drinks. The skills themselves are important, but we're also going to be looking at the efficiency of how we do it and of course how we make sure that everybody stays safe and we do it in a safe fashion. Before we go too far, I'd just like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land that we meet on today, the Darawal people, and the elders past, present and emerging. My name's Peter and I'll be taking you as your trainer for this series of sessions. I'm a trainer here with Solid RTO. I've been in the industry for quite some time and work both front of house and back of house, and it'll be good to be able to share some of that experience with you as we go through. So before we get started, maybe we can introduce ourselves and learn a little bit about you guys and what brings you to this course today. So we can start over here.
My name is Lauren.
Hi Lauren. And what brings you today? What are you hoping to achieve?
I'm hoping to learn some skills in hospitality.
Excellent. You're in the right place then. Have you worked in hospitality before?
I have briefly. I've worked in a restaurant before.
Right. What sort of things were you doing there?
Serving tables, taking orders, clearing, and setting as well.
Oh, excellent. So you're going to be familiar with some of these skills that we're going through, and it'll be great for you to just get a little bit more of confidence in what you're doing. Are you looking to work more in this industry? Is it something that you're interested in doing?
Yes.
Excellent. And what was your name?
I'm Nicola.
Hello, Nicola. Welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. I have got some experience in the industry. I worked at Pizza Hut back in the days when Pizza Hut was a restaurant.
Right, before it was a takeaway.
Yeah, before it was a takeaway. So, yeah, some experience.
So full table service, setting tables, customer service, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Excellent. And you're just here to try and expand on those skills a little bit and get some acknowledgement of the...
Yeah, getting a weekend job in hospitality would be good.
Fantastic. I'm just going to pass around a little attendance form, if I can get you to just fill that in for me with your name and phone number, and we'll just collate that with your attendance records so that we can mark you down for your attendance to this training session. As we're doing that, we'll just run through a little safety briefing. Obviously, what we're doing in these classes strongly replicates what you will experience in the food and beverage industry and in hospitality service. So there are some key pieces of personal safety that we need to really be mindful of. And the first is, of course, about hygiene. The majority of things that you're going to be dealing with will eventually be involved with serving or consuming of food or beverages by the member of the public. So we need to be really mindful to be washing our hands carefully at the start of every session, after going to the bathroom, after smoking, after eating. There's some sanitizer and gloves here for later parts of the course. If you are unwell in food and beverage, it's really important that you do let somebody know and possibly don't work. A lot of these things are very transmittable, especially through digestion, so we need to be careful to keep all of our guests safe. I do ask you to just check, we'll have a little bit, that you are wearing safety shoes. It was in the email invitation for you to come today that we need to be wearing closed-in and shoes with a good non-slip sole. This floor is pretty good, but you will find throughout different roles in this industry that floors can be a real problem, and wearing a really good pair of shoes is going to be key to keeping you safe. Throughout this series of sessions, we're going to be handling knives and glassware, only table knives, so nothing too dangerous, but there is still the potential for a little pricks on your forks when we're polishing and so on and so forth. Obviously glasses, if they become broken or if they have a crack, can be quite sharp. So just keep an eye on them, let me know. We need to dispose of them carefully to avoid anyone getting hurt taking the bins out. Some of these sessions we will be moving a little bit of furniture, mainly just chairs and tables. We just need to be really careful that we're doing so correctly, not trying to lift something that's too heavy for us, and where we need two people to be getting assistance to do it. As we're serving throughout today's session and through the other ones in this series, we're going to be leaning across the table to lay down plates, lay down glassware and set tables. And it's really important that you don't overextend your back, that you are using the reach of your arms, and that you are trying to avoid either having an injury or tipping something over onto somebody else. As you're walking around the room today, and we're going to be walking around doing a lot of our exercises, just keep an eye on the floor. The workspace is pretty clear, all the cables are being tied down and strapped down. Please make sure that your bags, drink bottles or any personal belongings don't sit in the floor or in the walkway. If there is something down there, or we have a spill or an accident, please let me know and we'll have that cleaned up so that the floor remains safe. A lot of today's activities will involve group work. They're going to involve working together, and it's really important that we remain respectful to each other at all times. That sort of goes beyond just today. Within the hospitality industry, it is quite stressful, and I would, recommend that you try and remain as respectful as possible at all times. There's a first aid kit if we need it, if anyone has a cut or anything that we achieve. Obviously we need to be making sure that we're bandaged up rather than getting blood everywhere. And if the fire alarm does go off, then the fire exits are just in the far corner. We'll move out and meet at the muster station that's out there. Anyone got any questions about that sort of thing? Excellent. Did you all manage to find parking today okay? No one's got to run out for parking meters or anything along those? No? And after today's course, this session is quite short, but there is a cafeteria down in the staff area, so you'll be able to get something to eat, refreshment, if you want to, after this session. Okay. Today we're going to learn and look at how to carry 3 plates in a restaurant or function situation. We're going to look at how we pick them up, how we're best to position them on our hands, and how we serve them to the table. And then we're going to look at how we remove them from the table appropriately and safely and take them back to the kitchen. While working as a waiter, you're going to need to be able to carry a whole variety of food and beverage out to the guests, and you need to be confident as you're doing it. And that's why we have to make sure that everyone's learnt the same things and that there is a routine to it, so that everybody's doing the same thing. To start this session, I'm going to demonstrate for you how to hold these 3 plates. I'll pick them up and show you how to correctly position them on your hands. We're then going to walk around the room with them very carefully and set them down appropriately into a place setting. Once I've done that, you're going to have a little opportunity to have a go at it yourselves, and I'll guide you through and help you get your fingers into the right spaces to hold those plates. And then we'll give you a bit of free time for you to practice and get comfortable walking around with them. Nicola, I believe you're recovering from a broken leg, so just take it easy with the walking. If you can get out of it today of how to position it, then hopefully by next week or into the future when your leg is fully recovered, you'll find the walking a little bit easier. Do let me know if there's any thing that you are struggling with, and we'll try and cater to you around that. And so, when we are carrying food, what do you think is important? What do we need to be looking out for?
You do not touch the food.
Absolutely, that's really important. Correct.
Hair doesn't fall into the food.
Yeah, hair. So normally in when you're turning up for work, there will be a uniform code, and that may be different depending on where you go. But it's really important that we follow that, and a lot of that is about that workplace health and safety. Closed shoes are essential, and a good grip on your shoes. Obviously, falling over and breaking your leg is not something that we want to see here at Solid Training. Okay, what else do we need to be thinking about?
That we put the food down in the right orientation on the table.
Very good, Lauren. You said last week that you did a lot of eating out, and that's really showing. So I get what you're talking about there is that the chef will have spent time and effort in designing that dish and putting it on the plate, and it's your job now to replicate it and represent it well on the table.
Not so much when it's butter chicken.
I guess it depends what the food is.
It's upside down there right now.
That's exactly right. What else?
Well, things like ice cream can be a bit slippery.
Absolutely.
I've seen sometimes the dessert isn't maybe where it started off.
Yeah, and depending on where you work, there's going to be different protocols that should be followed there. One of the tasks of the kitchen and one of the tasks of management is to make sure that the plates that you're given to carry are fit for purpose. You can't carry soup on a flat plate, for example. And you can't carry ice cream on a mirror without it being stuck down, because it's setting you an impossible task. So that should be taken care of. Accidents do happen though, and if they do, and you do find that your ice cream slips off the side of the plate, or something has moved, then you would need to report that into your supervisor and get a call on what to do. What we don't do is we don't touch it. So your hands can't come in contact with the food. Very important. What else do we need to worry about? Any ideas?
If it's hot food, it needs to get to the customer while it's still hot.
Correct, yeah, we need to be efficient, we need to be direct, so you need to know where you're going. That's very important, yeah. What else about hot food do we need to be mindful?
Don't burn yourself.
Oh, hot plates.
Absolutely. So we're not going to use hot plates today for obvious reasons, but do be aware that in some kitchen environments the plates can be very hot. And you just need to make sure that you're comfortable carrying those. A lot of waiters will use a waiter's cloth, which we won't go into today because we've got a lot to get through, but depending on the workplace you should be provided with a waiter's cloth if it's hot food, and that will protect you. But you can get some pretty nasty burns from plates, so be very, very careful. Anything else?
Well, I've been in some restaurants where the food just comes to the middle of the table, like when you're having Indian.
Absolutely.
But in fancy restaurants, if people are ordering different things, then you have to know which customer is having what.
Correct, yeah, that's right. And in a lot of restaurants, if people are ordering in an a la carte format, then we use cover numbers. So each position on each table would have its own number, and that really does depend on the venue and how they operate. Today, we're really looking at that function environment, and what we find in a function environment is that generally people are either all having the same thing or they're having an alternate drop. So an alternate drop means on the menu is, say, chicken and beef, and the first plate that goes down will be chicken and then beef, and rotate around the table so half of the people have one and half have the other. And when you're doing that, it's really an opportunity for them to serve two different meals that are going to cater for a lot of tastes. So if it's chicken and beef, someone doesn't eat beef, they can have the chicken and other dietaries and things like that. Okay, so I'm going to get started with how we do this. The first thing that we're going to want to do when we're picking up our plates is work out which handed we are. So I'm right-handed, which means my right hand is the hand that I'm using to serve with, which means I need to be carrying two plates in my left hand. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick up the first plate, and I'm going to position it in my left hand with my pinky extended and my thumb locking that down. I'm going to pick up my second plate and place it on top of the pinky and on top of the thumb so that the two remain horizontal, and I'm not gripping it tightly, it's just suspended on that lever arch there. You can see that as I'm moving around, if I straighten or bend those fingers, it's going to allow me to lift or lower that incline of the plate, and we want to keep an eye on that so that we keep the sauce and everything on there. Okay? And then the last thing I'm going to do is pick up our third plate. Again, I want to keep my fingerprints off the plate. I don't want to be grabbing it like this. It's very unappealing from a diner. I want to be picking it up from underneath, just using the ball of my thumb to support the rim. Okay? I've now got my three plates, and we're going to need to be able to walk with them. When you're walking with 3 plates, it's really important that you keep an open stance, keep your arms out. If you're all cramped up in here, first of all, you're breathing all over somebody's food, but if you get bumped, there's nowhere for the plates to go but for all over you. If you've got a little bit more space and you need to move around things, you can actually be a little bit more fluid, and provided we keep an eye, we don't lose that, so move them around. Okay? So, I'm going to get you to do this. Carry your 3, and we'll do some walking about. Again, Nicola, just be a little bit careful, make sure you're comfortable with how we're doing it. When we've got our 3 plates, the next thing we're going to need to do is serve them to the table. So, as we approach, we're going to come around, and I'll serve to you, Nicola. And then the first plate that we put down, and we're serving in from the right, is with the right hand. So the first plate comes in, and we adjust to make sure it's appropriately aligned. That allows me to then pick up the second plate, again with my right hand, and place it in front of you. And move on. The third plate I take into my right hand and lay for the next person. That way I'm always leaning in with my right hand to put the plates in. I'm never trying to reach over somebody with multiple plates, and I'm never suspending the 2 plates in my hand over the back of someone's head. Okay? Clearing is exactly the same, except we do it in reverse. And we'll do a little bit more into that as we come back through. Okay, so that's our first part to this session. What I'll get you to do is just stand up. You can grab 3 plates each.
Maybe Lauren should go first. Okay.
Lauren, you're going to have a go first. Okay, so are you left or right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
Excellent. So which hand are we going to carry the 2 plates
On
in?
the left.
On the left, absolutely. So pick up your first plate. That's right. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and just relax your fingers a little bit. Lift your arm up so your forearm is horizontal. Very good. Other plate goes on there. Nice. Excellent. Does that feel sturdy?
Yes.
Excellent. Just watch you with your right hand that you're using the ball of your thumb rather than your thumbprint. Doesn't need to be too close to the edge. You're just trying to avoid it, really pressing into it. So just holding it on the side of your thumb.
be doing that from a stack either.
No. Feel comfortable?
Yeah.
All right, if you want to have a little walk around and become familiar with that, then Clay, you want to come up and you can...
Oh, look at that.
Very good.
Shall I serve to Nicola?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be the next thing. So Nicola's over to this setting and I'll sit over here. And you can imagine that this is our 3rd diner here. So you can serve Nicola with the first plate.
Thank you.
Very good. In with the right.
Very good.
Thank you. And the last one. Very good. Excellent. How did that feel, Lauren?
Very good.
Nice. Okay, so Nicola, do you want to have a go now? And then we'll look at how we clear a little bit more carefully. Okay, so which handed are you, Nicola?
Right.
You're right-handed. So again, everything's going to be, the 2 plates are going to be in your left hand. Very good. Excellent. Does that feel comfortable?
Yeah.
And the 3rd one. Very nice. You've done this before, I think.
I think I have.
Very good. So that, do you feel sturdy?
Yeah.
Madame. So do you leave these 2 in that hand, or would you take one?
I would leave the 2 in that hand until you get to the next position and then take. That gives you a free hand in case you need to pick something up or fix something on a table. Thank you. Excellent. How did that feel?
Good.
So you can imagine in some situations in a large function space there'll be a lot of bustle and a lot of people around. There may be people pushing their chairs out, sitting in your way. There'll be people that are, maybe having a conversation, having a chat at another table. So it's not always as clear and as open as it is here. So it's really important that you spend some time and practice. I would really recommend that when you're walking around at home and you're taking your cereal over to the couch or whatever for breakfast, concentrate on how you're carrying it to make sure that it's nice and straight. Okay, Nicola, you want to have a seat and we'll just talk through a little bit more about how we clear. There's a few little things that we need to be mindful of. Has anyone been to a restaurant where they're sitting down, they've finished their meal, and someone comes along and piles it up, all the plates and big clanging mess, and knives and forks fall everywhere, and it's a really uncomfortable moment for everybody. And if you've left food on your plate, there's always that moment of hesitation that you might just be about to wear it. So rather than picking them all up like that, which we'd never do, we want to be able to pick them up from those place settings. So I'm just going to re-serve you with these plates. Put them down, and then we'll have a practice picking them up. So a few. And this will be out there. Now generally, when people have finished with their meal, they'll put their cutlery onto the plate. So there may be a mixed bag of things in there. So Lauren, if you'd like to put your entree cutlery onto the plate there, that would be good. And Nicola, I'll give you this set. Put that into yours. Excellent. Okay. So in the same way that we set the plates down, we're going to clear them. So again, the first plate goes into my left hand. That's the base. And then you're going to come into yours, clearing from the left, making sure to hold it flat and lift the cutlery with it. That sits on our little platform. We then take our cutlery and carefully place it onto our front plate. If there are little items of food here, that's okay. We don't want to be scraping and carrying them around. It's really important that as we are moving around the function space, we're as quiet and unobtrusive as possible. We can then reach over and grab our third plate. And the third plate sits directly on top of our second plate. Our cutlery can then be moved down onto the edge. And provided the plates aren't too heavy, you could then keep on going and pick up additional plates as they come, stacking them all up and keeping your right hand free. It's often really important that you keep your right hand free, because when you get into the kitchen or to where you're going to deposit them, you need to be able to put everything down. And if you've got a big pile of dirties in this hand as well, you can't do that. So then when we get into the kitchen, we're going to lay our plates on the wash-up bench. And most kitchens will have a cutlery bucket or something that you put your cutlery into, like that. Okay, does that make sense? So get you to reset those items. You can put those two back. And there's some plates. Where perhaps you'd like to go first, I'll sit over here. And perhaps you can start by clearing Nicola and then come over to me and you clear mine. These cutlery can be a little bit handle heavy, so you need to be quite careful. Excellent. That's the first one. Very good. Alright, clearing from the left. Nice. Excellent. Very good. And can you pick up one more plate and put that onto your top pile? Great. How does that feel? Good. So you're just being mindful that you do have all of that weight on your fingers extended. So you want to limit to so you're comfortable. Don't want to put undue strain on yourself. Don't try and carry too many at once, because dropping a whole pile of cutlery in the middle of a function creates quite a scene. Excellent. All right, just pop those down and maybe give Nicola and I back our cutlery and we'll let Nicola have a practice. Thank you. Great. All right, so just take it easy on your leg and make sure you feel comfortable. Very good, yeah, well remembered. Excellent. Very good. You have done this before. Very good. Excellent. So how do you feel with that? You obviously feel pretty comfortable. This isn't new to you.
Yes, it's easy when the plates are empty.
Absolutely. That's why you need to work in a good restaurant where people finish their meals and not leave half of it on the table. Any insights from your experience that you'd like to share with the group?
I think what you said was good. Don't take more than you're comfortable with. So even if you just have to leave 1 or 2 plates on the table and come back, or work with another team member so that you can clear the table together if it's a big table.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, I mean, if there is food left on the plate, sometimes I suppose you have to ask the customer, was everything okay?
Absolutely.
Because really there shouldn't be food left over. So.
Yeah. And they're all things that we'll cover later in this course. This is about setting those real key skills for being a wait person. All right. Okay, so you've all had a bit of time to practice with the empty plates, clearing, setting and clearing. And now I've got a little bit of an exercise for you just as a bit of fun. I've got some plates of food here. Obviously going to handle a little bit differently to the empty plates. So what we're going to get to do is have a practice with them. You can walk around the room and we might see how that goes. So Nicola, perhaps you'd like to go first. Whatever you feel comfortable carrying.
Very well.
Yeah, this is back to your ice cream that the chef hasn't stuck down very well.
Would I be better off picking that up last?
Well, we don't touch the food once it's on the plate. Very good. All right. Can you do a lap of the room with that?
I'm watching you, Lynn.
Yeah. And the important thing here is, and one of the things that you'll gain with practice and with the experience, is not having to look at the plates, looking where you're going. Same as when you're driving a car. If you keep your eyes on where you're going, your body, once it's familiar, will allow you to do that. If you're concentrating up close, then the car's swerving all over the road and your plates will wobble all over your place. Lauren, you want to have a go? See which one of these plates you're carrying? Good. Nice pick up.
You'll stay wobbling.
So eyes up, looking into the distance. Just in. Very good. Nice. Very well done. Okay, so have a seat, Lauren. We'll just wrap up today's session. I think we've pretty much covered all of the content today. Today we learned how to safely pick up and carry 3 plates, how to serve 3 plates to seated diners, and how to clear those plates again once the meal was finished. These are all skills that are essential in a restaurant situation or a function situation, and it's going to allow you to pick up more shifts and be a really valuable member of the team. Lauren, you've eaten in a lot of different styles of restaurants, and that's really evident with your understanding of how the different styles of service work, so that's great, keep that up. You can always share that with other people as well. Hospitality is so broad that we're all always learning, and we learn by experience. Nicola, your previous experience carrying plates is really evident. You'll find that obviously was pretty comfortable for you. A lot of the times you may work with younger people or people who haven't got that amount of experience, and if you think through of what we learned today and how that's been put across to you, maybe you can share some tips with them to make their lives easier as well. Is there anything, any feedback that you can give me on how today's class went? Do you feel like you learnt the desired outcome? Yeah, you both feel that you're comfortable in that situation of carrying the 3 plates? Was there a part to today's lesson that you would have liked to have spent more time on, or a part that you think we didn't really cover?
That was good.
Excellent. Any questions about today's lesson? Nothing. That's always a good sign.
Well, I suppose it might get trickier if not all the plates are the same. If you've got a couple of bowls.
Absolutely, yeah. No, that is a good point. And I would reiterate, when you're walking around at home and you're serving dinner to your family, then practice. And don't be afraid of different styles. And if you turn up to an event or a restaurant that is using very peculiar crockery or equipment, don't be afraid to ask. Have a practice. If they look like particularly different bowls, ask the kitchen, have you got a couple of bowls I can just become comfortable with and familiar with, so that you're then not on the spot when you're mixing up with food. Excellent. So thank you for coming today. I hope you got something out of that. Next week when we rejoin, we're going to be looking at the next part to this module, which is about serving drinks from a tray, pouring wine and pouring from a jug at the table. And that's it. That's all from us for today. So thank you for coming, guys.
Thanks.